My family laughed when I told them I was starting a side hustle. They called it pathetic, embarrassing, and a waste of time. They didn't know I was making more money in a week than they made in a month. But the real twist, when the bank threatened to take their house, they came crawling to the same useless hobby they mocked. And I paid off their entire mortgage with one condition, a condition they never expected. I'm 25 years old. I work a regular 9-to-5 job at a customer service center. The pay is decent, but nothing special. I live with my parents and my older sister because rent in my city is crazy expensive, and I've been trying to save money. My sister is the golden child. She's a nurse. She makes good money. She's responsible. She's everything my parents wanted. And then there's me, the quiet one, the one who just exists in the background. I've always wanted to do something more. Something that was mine. I didn't want to work for someone else my whole life. I wanted independence. I wanted to prove that I could build something on my own. So I started researching side hustles. I spent hours watching videos, reading articles, trying to figure out what I could do. That's when I found it. Digital art and printables. Things like planners, stickers, wall art, stuff people could download and use. It seemed perfect. I didn't need a lot of money to start. Just a laptop, some design software, and time. So I decided to go for it. I was so excited when I told my family. I thought they'd be supportive, maybe even proud. But the moment I said I was starting an online shop to sell digital products, they laughed. My sister looked at me like I was joking. She said, "Who would buy your stuff? You're not even good at art." My dad shook his head and said, "Get a real job. This is embarrassing." My mom tried to be nicer, but she still said, "You'll just embarrass yourself, honey. Why don't you focus on getting promoted at work instead?" I tried to explain that this could actually work, that people were making real money doing this, but they didn't listen. My sister kept comparing me to our cousin who's a lawyer. She said, "Why can't you be successful like her? Why do you always pick these weird projects?" I felt so small, so stupid, but I didn't want to give up. Not yet. I spent weeks working on my first products. I designed planners, daily schedules, motivational prints. I stayed up late learning how to use design tools. I watched tutorial after tutorial. I finally launched my shop. I was so nervous. I posted about it on social media. I told my family I'd officially opened my store. My sister found my shop page and read my product descriptions out loud at dinner. She was laughing so hard she could barely breathe. My dad didn't even look up from his plate. My mom just sighed. The worst part was when they told our relatives. We had a family dinner a few weeks later. My aunt asked what I'd been up to. Before I could answer, my sister jumped in. She said, "Oh, she's trying to sell cute stickers now. Can you believe it?" Everyone laughed. My uncle made a joke about me becoming a millionaire from stickers. I sat there trying to smile, but inside I was dying. I went to my room that night and cried. I felt humiliated, but I also felt something else, anger. I was angry at them for not believing in me, and that anger turned into fuel. I decided right then that I was going to prove every single one of them wrong. I stopped talking to my family about my business. I didn't tell them about new products. I didn't tell them about sales. I just worked in silence. I'd come home from my day job, exhausted, eat dinner, and then lock myself in my room. I'd work on designs until 2 or 3 in the morning. I learned everything I could, how to market on social media, how to write better product descriptions, how to create things people actually wanted to buy. My first sale came 3 days after I launched. It was a $5 planner. I know that doesn't sound like much, but when I got that notification, I almost cried. Someone out there, a complete stranger, thought my work was worth paying for. That meant everything to me. I saved that $5 in a drawer. I didn't spend it. I just wanted to remember that moment. Sales started coming in slowly. $10 here, $15 there. I wasn't making a lot, but I was making something. My family had no idea. They saw me tired all the time and assumed I was just wasting my life on a stupid hobby. My sister would make comments like, "Still playing shop owner?" My dad would say, "When are you going to grow up?" But I didn't say anything. I just kept working. After 2 months, I made my first $100 in a single week. I stared at my bank account for like 10 minutes. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't life-changing money, but it was proof. Proof that I wasn't crazy. Proof that this could actually work. I printed out my sales report and hid it in my desk drawer. I wanted to keep it as a reminder that I was building something real, even if no one believed in me. Everything changed 4 months in. I'd been posting my designs on Instagram and TikTok, just hoping someone would notice. And then one day, someone did. A lifestyle influencer with like 300,000 followers found one of my productivity planners. She posted a video about it. She told her followers it was the best planner she'd ever used. She tagged my shop. My phone exploded. I'm not exaggerating. Within an hour, I had 200 orders. 200. My website started crashing because too many people were trying to check out at once. My inbox was flooded with messages, people asking questions, people thanking me, people requesting custom designs. I sat on my bedroom floor staring at my laptop screen in complete shock. This was actually happening. The next morning, I woke up to even more orders. By the end of the week, I'd made over $6,000. $6,000 from something my family called embarrassing. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run downstairs and shove my phone in their faces, but I didn't. I stayed quiet because I knew the right moment would come eventually. My family still had no idea. They saw me on my laptop all the time and assumed I was just scrolling through social media. My sister made a comment at breakfast one day. She said, maybe if you spent less time on your phone, you'd actually accomplish something. I just smiled and said, maybe. Inside, I was laughing. I was making more in a week than she made in a month, and she had no clue. 2 months later, everything fell apart for my family. My dad came home one evening holding an envelope. His hands were shaking. My mom asked what was wrong. He didn't say anything. He just handed her the letter. It was from the bank, a foreclosure notice. My parents were 3 months behind on the mortgage. They were going to lose the house. My mom started crying immediately. My dad sat down at the kitchen table and put his head in his hands. My sister freaked out. She started asking how this happened. My dad explained that he'd lost some hours at work. My mom's job cut her benefits. They'd been using credit cards to cover bills, and it all just snowballed. They owed $32,000. They had 60 days to pay or the bank would take the house. The next few weeks were awful. My parents were stressed all the time. My mom cried every night. My dad barely spoke. They tried to figure out a solution. They talked about selling the car, taking out another loan, asking relatives for help. But nothing worked. My sister offered to help, but she didn't have that kind of money saved. No one did. The weird thing was, they never asked me. Not once. They assumed I had nothing to offer, and honestly, I didn't blame them. As far as they knew, I was still wasting my time on a silly side hustle. They had no idea I'd been quietly building something real. Something that could actually save them. It was a Sunday morning. We were all sitting in the living room. My parents looked exhausted. My sister was on her phone trying to find loan options. The energy in the house was just heavy. Finally, my sister looked at me. She said, "Hey, can you at least lend us like $200? Anything helps." My parents looked at me hopefully. They didn't expect much, but they were desperate. I didn't say anything at first. I just stood up, walked to my room, and grabbed my laptop. I came back downstairs and sat on the couch. My family was watching me, confused. I opened my laptop and pulled up my shop dashboard, the one that showed all my earnings. I turned the screen toward them. My sister leaned in to look. Her eyes went wide. My mom gasped. My dad just stared. The screen showed my earnings from the last month, $28,000. And below that, a new purchase order that had just come in, $15,000, for a bulk order of custom planners from a company. Nobody said anything for a long time. It was completely silent. Finally, my dad spoke. His voice was barely a whisper. He said, "This is from that silly hobby?" I nodded. My mom started crying. Not sad crying, shocked crying. My sister's face turned bright red. She looked like she wanted to disappear. I explained everything. How I'd been working on this for months. How I'd built a real business. How I was making more than any of them realized. My dad kept shaking his head like he couldn't believe it. My mom kept saying, "I had no idea. I had no idea." My sister didn't say a word. She just sat there, staring at the floor. After the shock wore off, my parents started talking at once. My mom said, "Can you help us? Please, we'll pay you back, I promise." My dad said, "We're so sorry we didn't take you seriously. We were wrong." My sister finally looked at me. She said, "I'm sorry too. I shouldn't have made fun of you." Her voice was quiet, almost like she was embarrassed. I closed my laptop. I looked at all three of them, and I said, "I'll help you. I'll pay off the entire mortgage." My mom's eyes filled with tears. My dad looked like he might cry too. But then I said, "But I have one condition." They all stared at me. I said, "I need you to sign an agreement, a written agreement that says you will never belittle my work, my choices, or my independence again. You will respect what I do. You will support me, and you will never mock me for trying to build something of my own. If you can agree to that, I'll transfer the money today." My parents looked at each other. My dad nodded immediately. He said, "Of course, yes, absolutely." My mom said, "Anything, we agree." My sister hesitated. I could see it on her face. She didn't want to admit she was wrong, but my parents looked at her. My dad said, "Sign it." She finally nodded. I pulled out a printed contract I'd written the night before. I knew this moment was coming. I'd prepared for it. My parents signed it without even reading the whole thing. My sister signed last. Her hand was shaking. Once all three signatures were on the paper, I opened my banking app. I transferred $32,000 to my parents' mortgage account. Just like that. One transfer. Done. My mom sobbed. My dad hugged me. My sister just sat there, staring at the contract in her hands. I didn't feel angry anymore. I didn't feel like I needed to rub it in their faces. I just felt free. Free from their judgment. Free from their doubt. I'd proven myself. And that was enough. Things changed after that. My parents started treating me differently. They asked about my business. They wanted to know how it worked. They bragged about me to relatives, the same relatives who'd laughed at me months before. My mom told everyone I was an entrepreneur. My dad showed people screenshots of my shop. It was surreal. My sister tried to be supportive, but it was awkward. She asked if she could help with my business. She said she could do marketing or social media. I politely said no. I told her I had it handled. She didn't push. I think she knew she didn't deserve to be part of something she'd spent months tearing down. A few weeks later, I moved out. I found my own apartment, a small one-bedroom place across town. It wasn't huge, but it was mine. I decorated it exactly how I wanted. I set up a home office. I bought a nice desk, a good chair, plants for the windowsill. I framed my first ever $5 sale receipt and hung it on the wall. Every time I looked at it, I remembered why I started. I remembered the girl who cried in her room after being laughed at, and I felt proud of how far I'd come. My business kept growing. I hired a part-time assistant. I expanded my product line. I started getting inquiries from bigger companies. I even quit my day job. I was finally doing what I'd always dreamed of, working for myself, building something that mattered. And the best part, I didn't need my family's approval anymore. I had my own. Looking back, I'm grateful for everything that happened. I'm grateful my family doubted me, because that doubt pushed me to work harder than I ever would have otherwise. It made me prove to myself that I was capable, that I could build something real. I'm not angry at my family anymore. They apologized, they changed, and that's all I can ask for. But I'll never forget how it felt to be mocked, to be dismissed, to be told my dreams were embarrassing. Those feelings shaped me. They made me who I am today. If your family doesn't believe in you, believe in yourself twice as hard, because sometimes the same people who mock your dreams are the ones who will need them the most. Keep working, keep building, keep proving them wrong, not for them, for you, because you deserve to see what you're capable of. And trust me, when you finally do, it'll be worth every single doubt you had to push through. I still have that $5 bill in my desk drawer. I look at it sometimes when I need a reminder that every big success starts with something small, something people might laugh at. But if you believe in it, if you work for it, it can become something they'll never forget. Subscribe if you've ever been underestimated.